Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by asking you a question that might shake you. Are you living as a person of value? Or are you just busy being available? Because here's the truth. Availability without value is distraction, but value without constant availability is attraction. And in 2025, if you want to rise, if you want to stand out, if you want to create wealth and impact, you must choose to be valuable, not available for everyone. Let me ask you a question that might shake your thinking. If people could get you anytime they wanted, for anything they wanted, at no cost, why would they value you? The truth is, they wouldn't, because the principle of value is tied directly to scarcity, not availability. Diamonds are valuable because they are rare. Gold is treasured because it's hard to find. If it were lying around on every street corner, nobody would fight for it, nobody would pay for it, and nobody would honor it. Yet so many people live their lives like their time, their energy, and their gifts are lying around on the sidewalk for anyone to pick up. And then they wonder why people overlook them, underpay them, or even take them for granted. Here's the reality most don't want to face. When you are overly available, you cheapen your own value. That's not arrogance, that's economics. It's the law of supply and demand. The more abundant something is, the less people are willing to sacrifice for it. If you answer every call, respond to every message instantly, give away your expertise to anyone who asks, and never set boundaries, you're sending the signal that what you offer doesn't require honor. And if you don't require honor, people won't give it. Because people don't naturally value what is common, they value what is rare, refined, and reserved. Think about the air you breathe. It keeps you alive, yet you don't value it. You don't sit in awe of oxygen every morning. Why? Because it's everywhere. You don't have to fight for it, you don't have to pay for it, and you don't have to seek it out. But imagine yourself at the top of Mount Everest with no oxygen tank. Suddenly, that same air becomes priceless. It's not that the air changed. It's that the access changed. And that's the secret. Your value doesn't come from just what you have. Your value comes from how you manage access to what you have. Here's a hook for you to remember. If everybody can get you, then nobody will get you at the level they should. If you're always in the room, people stop appreciating your presence. If you're always answering every call, people stop respecting your time. If you're always saying yes, people stop believing your yes carries weight. Scarcity creates significance. The fewer people who have access to you, the more those who do will honor and cherish the opportunity. Now, don't confuse this with isolation. Being valuable doesn't mean being unavailable to everyone. It means being intentionally available to the right ones. It means recognizing that your time is currency, and where you spend it reveals what you truly value. When you make yourself available to every distraction, you rob yourself of the focus required to build destiny. But when you reserve your availability for high-value activities, high-value people, and high-value opportunities, you multiply your impact and your influence. In business, the most profitable brands don't compete on being everywhere. They compete on being elite. Luxury companies don't discount their products to make them available to everyone. They protect their price and position to maintain their prestige. And here's the truth, your life is a brand. If you make yourself common, people will treat you as common. But if you make yourself valuable, people will invest in you, respect you, and even wait for the opportunity to access you. So here's the challenge for you. Stop trying to be everywhere and start being essential where it matters. Stop stretching yourself so thin that people see through you. Instead, become like a diamond, rare, refined, and respected. Because in the end, scarcity is not your limitation, it's your leverage. And the moment you understand that value is in scarcity, not availability, your whole life will shift. Your destiny will never be determined by how many times you say yes. It will be determined by how disciplined you are with your no. Most people never step into greatness because they have confused being agreeable with being aligned. They say yes to every request, every opportunity, every invitation, and every distraction. But here's the truth that you must burn into your mind every time you say yes to something small. You are unconsciously saying no to something significant. Every yes costs you something, and oftentimes the price is your purpose. Let me ask you this. How many times have you said yes to someone else's urgency and ended up postponing your own priority? How many times have you said yes to a small meeting, a minor favor, or a meaningless conversation, and later realized you had said no to your own growth, your own focus, your own dream? You cannot be effective in your destiny if you keep leasing out your time to anyone who asks for it. Your time is not just hours on a clock. Your time is life in installments. And once it's spent, it cannot be refunded. That's why your no is one of the most powerful tools you will ever have. Here's a hook you must remember. Your no is not rejection, it's protection. When you say no, you're not rejecting people. You're protecting purpose. You're building a wall around your destiny so that thieves can't steal it and distractions can't dilute it. Think about it like this. If a bank didn't lock its vault, what would happen to the money? If a museum didn't guard its masterpieces, what would happen to the art? In the same way, if you don't guard your life with a strong no, your treasures will be stolen, your focus will be scattered, and your future will be sold for cheap. The reason many people stay stuck in mediocrity is because they don't respect their no. They think being kind means being constantly available. But kindness without boundaries is self-destruction. You cannot keep pouring from an empty cup. You cannot keep giving everyone your yes and expect to have anything left for yourself. The greatest achievers, the wealthiest entrepreneurs, the most impactful leaders all share one skill in common. They know how to say no, not because they don't care, but because they care too much about the mission to waste energy on distractions. Understand this, every yes is a contract. When you say yes, you're entering into an agreement to give away your time, your energy, and your focus. If that agreement doesn't align with your vision, you've just signed away a piece of your destiny. That's why you must examine your yes as carefully as you would sign a legal contract. Would you sign every contract put in front of you without reading it? Of course not. Then, why do you sign your time away so freely? And here's something most won't tell you. People may be disappointed by your no, but they will eventually respect you for it. Because deep down, everyone values boundaries, even if they push against them. Your no creates clarity. It tells the world what you will tolerate and what you will not. It tells people that you value yourself enough to choose wisely. And in return, the right people will honor your space, your time, and your calling. So let me give you this challenge. Stop treating your yes like a casual word and start treating it like a sacred covenant. Stop scattering your life into fragments by giving away yes after yes that doesn't serve your destiny. Instead, use the power of no to concentrate your energy on the things that matter most. Because when you master your no, you master your destiny. And when you protect your destiny, you step into the life that was always meant for you. One of the greatest mistakes people make in life, in business, and even in relationships is giving away too much access. And here's the hard truth. People don't respect what they over-access. The more someone has unlimited entry into your life, your time, and your energy, the less they value it. Familiarity without boundaries breeds disrespect. And if you don't control the level of access you grant, you will eventually become unappreciated, undervalued, and even overlooked. Think about it like this. When something is everywhere, people don't treasure it. Water flowing from a faucet is taken for granted, but water in a desert is cherished. The difference isn't in the water. It's in the access. Your gifts, your wisdom, your presence, your energy, they are like living water. But if you let it flow unchecked for anyone, anytime, anywhere, people will sip without gratitude and waste without thought. The scarcity of access is what creates honor. If you want to be respected, you must learn to control who, when, and how people access you. Here's a hook that should stay with you. Unlimited access leads to limited appreciation. The more you let people into every moment of your life, the less they see the weight of your presence. If you're always available, your value gets diluted. And here's the truth: people may love you, they may like you, they may even admire you, but if you don't establish boundaries, they will eventually misuse you. Not because they're bad, but because you train them that you are always available at no cost. Consider the way luxury brands operate. You don't walk into a high-end boutique and expect the products to be piled everywhere like discount goods. They are protected, carefully displayed, and limited in number. Why? Because limitation creates value. Scarcity generates demand. And exclusivity builds prestige. If companies understand this principle, why shouldn't you apply it to your own life? When you treat yourself as common, people treat you as common. But when you treat yourself as valuable, people begin to honor that value. Now, here's where it gets powerful. Setting boundaries around access isn't about pushing people away. It's about teaching them how to honor you. When you respond immediately to every call, every text, every request, you communicate that your time is not precious. But when you are intentional with your availability, you communicate that your presence carries weight. And when people finally do get your time, they value it more they listen deeper, and they leave with greater transformation. Let me give you a real challenge. Think about the last time you poured into someone who didn't value it. Maybe you gave advice, but they ignored it. Maybe you invested energy, but they didn't apply it. How did that feel? Probably like a waste. Now ask yourself why it felt like a waste. It wasn't because you lacked wisdom. It was because you gave wisdom to someone who wasn't ready to value it. Sometimes the problem isn't your gift, it's your gatekeeping. You must decide that not everyone who asks for access deserves access. Here's a phrase you should remember: access should be earned, not assumed. When people have to earn access to you, they show up differently. They listen more carefully, they take action more quickly, and they respect your time more deeply. Because when something is hard to get, people treat it like treasure. And your time, your energy, your presence, that is treasure. It should never be treated like a trinket that anyone can grab. So guard your access. Protect your presence. Value your yes. Because when you do, you elevate your life from being common to being compelling. And the people who truly deserve your presence will never be offended by your boundaries. They will be honored by them. The world is shifting faster than ever before. And if there's one principle that will separate those who win in 2025 from those who get left behind, it's this: the world will not reward the busy, it will reward the valuable. For too long, people have mistaken activity for achievement. They've confused being busy with being productive, and they've convinced themselves that the longer their to-do list, the closer they are to success. But here's the wake-up call: being busy doesn't guarantee progress. Being valuable is what creates impact, influence, and income. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever looked back at a week where you were busy from morning until night, but when it was all over, you realized you hadn't moved forward? That's the trap of business. It keeps you occupied, but not effective. It gives you the illusion of progress without the reality of results. And in 2025, with the level of distraction, competition, and noise increasing daily, business will bankrupt you of both time and purpose if you don't wake up and pivot to value. Here's a hook for you: business is a badge of the broke. Value is the currency of the wealthy. The people who build wealth, who create movements, who transform lives, they aren't the ones trying to be everywhere, doing everything for everyone. They are the ones who focus on becoming so valuable in a specific area that the world has no choice but to seek them out. Your value is what makes you indispensable, not your availability. Think about it. Nobody is paying top dollar for the person who works the hardest. They're paying for the person who solves the biggest problems. You don't become valuable by working longer hours. You become valuable by mastering skills, refining wisdom, and applying solutions that others cannot. That's why you can have two people in the same field, one working 80 hours a week and barely surviving, while another works 20 hours a week and thrives. The difference isn't effort. The difference is value. Here's the truth: the marketplace doesn't reward effort. It rewards effectiveness. Your family doesn't benefit from how busy you are. They benefit from how impactful you are. Your community doesn't grow because you spread yourself thin. It grows because you delivered something that mattered. In this season, you've got to stop asking, how can I do more? And start asking, how can I be more valuable? Because more activity without more value is just more exhaustion. Let me bring this home with another hook. Business impresses people temporarily, but value impacts people permanently. Anybody can look busy. They can run around, juggle projects, chase deadlines, and look impressive to the untrained eye. But when the results are measured business, without value leaves you empty. On the other hand, when you invest in becoming valuable by mastering your craft, guarding your focus, and aligning with your purpose, you create impact that outlives your effort. In 2025, the people who will win are the ones who stop glorifying business and start prioritizing value. They will say no to distractions so they can say yes to destiny. They will stop trying to prove themselves by being everywhere and start positioning themselves by being exceptional where it matters. They will understand that the goal isn't to be constantly in motion, but to be consistently effective. Because in a world addicted to speed and noise, true value will always stand out. So ask yourself today, are you just busy or are you valuable? Are you filling your calendar or are you fulfilling your calling? The difference between the two will determine whether you survive 2025 or thrive in it. Stop chasing the applause that comes from activity and start creating the legacy that comes from value. Because when the world recognizes your value, opportunities chase you, respect follows you, and success becomes inevitable.